Hello everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showcasing the May Flavor of the Month kit as the YouTube kit ambassador. This month's theme is in the countryside, and for the first card I'm going to be using sketch number 1. So I'm using the black cardstock called Black Licorice that came in the kit to back all of my pattern papers. I'm using this adorable lamb or sheep pattern paper from Doodlebug Down on the Farm, and then using some other pattern papers that came in the kit as well. So I'm just following the sketch quite closely here. I do take this little speech bubble. This is one of the Down on the Farm chit chats, and I cut off the little tail part so it's just a circle with one of my circle dies. And now I'm taking a circle die and making a little hill of grass for my little lamb or sheep to sit on. So I'm constructing the card exactly as it is laid out on the card sketch. Usually I don't follow them so closely, but this one I really liked the design of it. So I'm just laying the little sentiment that says welcome little one very lightly so that it's not adhered down yet until I figure out where I want to get this square piece. Then I'm going to put that in place, adhere the little piece of grass down, and then I'm going to stick on my little sheep from the Barnyard Avriel exclusive stamp set that comes in the kit this month. Then I decided that I was going to use the back of one of the papers, and it has these beautiful little daisies, and I thought that would look really cute on the little sheep here. So I just fussy cut that out, and then I'm trying to decide where exactly I want it, so I move it around a couple times, and as always, if you watch my channel, 99.9% of the time it goes back to the original place that I had it. So that is basically the card once I get this completely adhered down, and then we will move on to card number 2. I'm just going to show you here the card with the sketch beside it. So for card number 2, I'm using some of the pattern paper that I received in my kit, and I'm using some broken china Distress Oxide ink here, and I'm going to create a little bit of an outdoor scene on this stitched oval die cutout that I used with one of my MFT stitched oval dies. So now I'm bringing in peeled paint, Distress Oxide, and I'm going to use this for the grass. I do reuse my post-it note tape, so you can see it's not very sticky, but I just turned it around where I could get a better grip on it, and then finishing up the inking for that. So there's my cute little background. I'm going to spritz some water on that using my distress sprayer, and then using a microfiber cloth to pick up the water droplets. So I'm using a piece of the ribbon that also came in the kit here for the bottom of my card, just to give it a little something extra, and I wanted to use the pretty ribbon. Now I should have put the ribbon on the card before I put the piece of pattern paper to the card base, but that's okay, I just trimmed it off. Now I'm just using some fun foam here to add some dimension to the oval portion of the card. I really like fun foam because, one, it's absolutely more affordable than buying foam adhesive from a craft store, and 2, I like that it's just raised ever so slightly, so it goes through the mail very easily. So I tied a bow and adhered that on using a glue dot. Now I'm taking some of these little stickers that came in one of the collections from the kit, and I thought I would make a little scene using up those stickers. So I'm just cutting them out of the sheet, leaving the backing on them so I can kind of arrange how I want them to sit on the card. And then I'm carefully going to pull these off. They're very sticky, and I wanted to make sure I didn't rip any pieces of the sticker off. And I'm going to adhere those, and you can tell it's really sticky. I was like, oh, I hope I can get this up, but it came up okay. So I'm going to adhere this right down to the panel. Now, these stickers are see-through, so if it bothers you that you can see through them, you can adhere them first to some plain white cardstock and fussy cut them out, and that might give you the look that you might prefer, but I didn't mind it, so I'm just adhering them down, as I said, right to the panel. And then these little ones were a bit more tricky. The little chicks had some glitter over top of them, and I found it was peeling a little bit, so I just sort of scraped it off as best I could, and they turned out really cute. I love these two little pigs that are nose to nose. So just making sure they're where I want them before I adhere them down, and then these two little ones to finish it, and then I'm going to stamp out the sentiment. So the sentiment reads, "Cow are you?" And this is from the exclusive Sunny Studio Miss Moo stamp set. I'm just using a double-sided fishtail banner. This is from My Favorite Things, and I'm going to adhere that down just underneath the bow here. And I'm going to use some additional glue dots just to make sure the ends of, or the bow tails, I guess, don't move in the mail. So there is card number 2. Moving on to card number 3, I'm using this scalloped border die from Lawn Fawn. I didn't like the bottom way it was cut out on the original tag. I just thought the scallops were too big. So I am going to be using sketch number 4 as an inspiration here. So I'm just showing you that so you can kind of see what it looks like. I'm bringing back out the peeled paint. I wanted to bring in some of the green from the leaves on the flowers. So I thought I would do a very light background for which my little chicks were going to sit on. So this is just regular 110-pound Recollections cardstock. And I'm just going to put that underneath the little tag frame here, cut that out. I like doing this as well because it makes the frame a little bit more sturdy. So I'm going to use some fun foam here, going to put my pattern paper onto my card base. I am leaving a bit of a white border with this card, and then I'm going to adhere this frame to kind of like the top left hand portion, as you kind of see the rectangle laid out in the sketch. So I'm going to again stamp out a sentiment, and these little chicks that I'm going to be using and the sentiment come from the Barnyard Avery Elle stamp set. So I'm just going to adhere that down to the bottom. I think I want to have one of the little chicks beside there as if that's the one that's the favorite, and then the other two sitting in the little frame opening. So I'm just going to cut some fun foam to adhere to that banner with the sentiment so that it is raised to the same height as the frame. And then I'll adhere that on and cut down the portion that overhangs the side of the card. I really like the way this turned out. I love the pink and yellow together. So after I get this trimmed up, I'm going to be adhering the chicks down, and I tried it out with all 3 of them in there, but I liked my original idea better of putting the one down by the sentiment, so I'll get that little one adhered on. And then when I was looking at these 2 little chicks, I felt like they looked funny, so I had this tiny little piece of green pattern paper left over from the first card, so I just free cut a little hill here, and I'm just sticking it in to see if I'm gonna like it, and I do. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue. I use the Nuvo Deluxe liquid adhesive. It's absolutely my favorite liquid glue to use now. It's getting a little empty, so if you see me shaking it, that's why. But I think these little cuties look so much better on the little grass hill than they did with nothing behind them. So then I decided to grab one of the Kennedy Grace sequin packs to add a few little sequins. I wanted to tie in that darker pink or reddish color a bit more. So you see me kind of moving them around. And then I use the Nuvo Drops the Strawberry Coulis for their beaks, and I wanted to brighten up the little breasts of the chicks here a little bit, so I brought in my R22 and one of my yellows here just to brighten up their chests, like I said. So here's how the card looks with the sketch, and I really like the way this turned out. So here's a close-up of the card, and then we'll move on to card number 4. So I'm using sketch number 3 as a guide for this one, and I cut out all my little panels. I cut them to 1 3/4 by 2 1/4, and I'm putting my adhesive to the back and laying them on the card panel because I felt like I could get them straightened up a little bit better if I did this. And then I'll simply turn them around and adhere them, but I'm not pressing them down just yet. I want to kind of get them all in place and then see if I have them equal spaces. I mean, you could measure this if you wanted to, but I'm not that worried about it, and I think it turned out just fine. So I cut out a circle with one of the pattern papers. This card had, I think, 3 iterations in the end, and I left it all in so you can kind of see the process. I did struggle with this a bit. So I wanted to put this circle in the middle, and then I'm going to use one of the stickers from this Pebble sticker pack, and I'm going to use the little horse, and see how his little snout is pink, so that's why I used the pink pattern paper to tie that in. And then I have this little chit chat that came in my package that says just horsing around. And then when I got this on the card, I didn't really like the way it was coming together, so I decided again to cut off the little tail and just sort of make it like an oval. And I end up adhering it here, and then time passed. I did not like the card, and so I was like, I need to do something different with this. So I'm carefully trying to peel everything up. It does come off just fine, and I'm going to attempt my second design. And I thought, is there a better way to get this sticker on there? I couldn't get it to look right, so then I grabbed a little horse from the Hey There Lawn Fawn stamp set that I have in my stash. And I don't normally do this for the kits, but I figured that some of you would actually get the little doodlebug horse that comes in the mini icons. And so if you did get that, then you could definitely use that in place, or one of the other stickers that they break up might have a horse in it as well. And I had colored this a long time ago and never used it. I didn't like the way the blending came out, so I just grabbed another one of my zig markers and tried to blend it better, and I did like the way that turned out. But I didn't like the layout of that one either, because when I removed the first sticker, that sticker had yellow in it, and then nothing else had yellow in it. So I needed to bring in more yellow. So I tore everything off again, and I cut out this stitched circle, and I decided to use that as the background for the sentiment and for the little horse image here. So then I wanted to bring in some more of these sequins, so I grabbed some brown ones and some green ones and yellow from 2 of the different packages that come in the kit. So just kind of placing these around, I'll glue them on, and now you can see how the card turned out in relation to the sketch. So then we're going to move on to card number 5, which is the last card for this video. I'm using Broken China, and I'm using my cloudy border stencil here. This is my favorite things. I love this stencil for making clouds. And then I'm grabbing out my peeled paint again, and I'm going to do the bottom. So it's like the grass for the little picnic scene that I'm going to create with the Scrapping for Less stamp that comes in the kit. So I cut out a square from my card panel, And I'm going to adhere that to the little scene that I made. I'm going to stick that onto my card base, and then I stamped out the little picnic basket using the Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide, and I just recently got the third set of Distress Oxides, and this is my first time with the Mermaid Lagoon. I didn't have it in the regular Distress inks, and oh my goodness, it's so pretty. So I had colored the images, and I'm just laying out the scene here. I did fussy cut all of them, and with the sun I just put adhesive on the circular part so that the rays could be kind of fluffed up to give it some dimension. So I'm going to use the two little pigs and the picnic basket for the card. Absolutely adorable. And you could definitely stop here with the card. I was just trying to use up some more of the pattern paper from the kit. So I did add some to the bottom of the card, but I loved the clean and simple look of it without any of the pattern paper. But I'm going to use a doodlebug paper here and a tiny checkered pattern paper from My Favorite Things. And I'm using the sentiment, "Did someone say picnic?" which is so cute. And then a fishtail banner die. This is an MFT die. And I'm going to kind of put these together to the bottom. Now I felt like this yellow one was a bit too wide, so I trimmed that down, stuck that on, and then I'm going to adhere the sentiment to that as well. I'm not going to pop anything up, and it's going to be a nice flat card. So I'm just going to do some detail on the sun's eyes. I'd forgotten to do it. I already did the pigs prior to doing the video. Adding some glossy accents here just to make some of the bits shiny. And then I should have left it here. But I add some of the Nouveau drops to the basket, which was fine. And then I thought, oh, I'll just add them to the card. I haven't had Nouveau drops for a long time, so I'm still getting used to them. And it was when I started putting them up here that I liked it less. So for me, I always need to have uneven numbers of accents on the card. And I did not like how the one that I'm putting the sequin on now was so close under the one on top of it. I just didn't like the way it looked. So I thought, I wonder if this would look better if I could just adhere some sequins over top. So that's what I did, and it worked out great. And honestly, Nouveau drops make amazing adhesive for sequins. Those things are not moving at all. So that's card number 5. I do like the way it turned out, and then you can see the little bit of the strawberry color coming through the sequin, which I thought is really pretty. So here's a close-up of all 5 cards. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a comment, and I will pick someone at random to send at least one of these cards to. So thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.